evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Wave Network and Sports Corner with the Conn Man. With me this evening, I have my good friend, Anthony Thompson, better known with the organization called Follow Suit. What's going on, my brother?
Hey, good evening. God bless. How's everything?
I'm doing better now. Glad you came on my show. Folks, he's been on my show before, and he established such a impact on me as well as the viewers. I had to have him come back on. And the last time he came on, there was some technical difficulties. I said, I got to get him back on because he's doing so many great things in the city of Boston. And I want you to come on and let the people know about what you're doing because it's phenomenal. So if you don't mind, and then we're going to talk about some basketball. You know we're going to do that. We're going to get into that. You already know how that goes. But
Yes,
anyway,
sir.
yeah, let the viewers know how it all began and what got you involved with Follow Suit, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, I'm Anthony Thompson. I'm the founder and CEO of Follow Suit Mentoring Program. My mentoring program is a 501c3 nonprofit program, and it's basically about inspiring young men to dress for success. So along the way, I came up as Mike knows, playing basketball, and my coach taught me on the court lessons and off the court lessons. And one of the off the court lessons that the great coach Dennis Wilson taught us was, sir, you're never going to get a second chance to make a first impression. So that always stuck with me. So when I took that path and made some choices that led me down the wrong alleyways and byways and things of that nature, knowing that making that first impression and dressing for success saved my life and brought me back. So we inspire young men to dress for success within my program, and it's a 7-step workshop. So we do build a suit, how to tie a tie. We do health and wellness. We do healthy relationships. We do financial literacy. We do teen suicide prevention and awareness. And then we cap it off with a vision board session. And when the cohorts complete all 7 steps of the program, we award them with a custom-made suit at the end. So I have a partner, Gilbert White, who has his own custom clothing line, who deals with men's suits and also women's suits. And so we gift the kids with a custom-made suit when they complete the program, if they go through all 7 steps of the program.
Now, at the origination, at the beginning, how did you decide I'm going to do this? And what steps did you take?
So like I said, we're making that choice and going down the wrong road. So when I was a senior in high school, just before the city jamboree, 3 days before the city jamboree in high school, the big basketball tournament everybody knows about in Boston, the school, every place has their big jamboree. So I made a choice and I cut class and I went down into the locker room with 2 other guys, and we decided to go down there and we used drugs. We went down there and was using drugs, and I got caught.
Mm-hmm.
And after I got caught, when the coach found out, he didn't kick me off the basketball team. And the only reason why he didn't kick me off the team was because of my talent. But he told me I couldn't let no one else on the basketball team know that what had happened. He said, you're going to be suspended for 5 games, but you can't let nobody else on the team know what's going on. So everybody on the team just thought I was just riding the bench. All the people that would come to the games and see me, they just thought I was riding the bench. No one knew I was actually suspended.
Mm-hmm.
So make a long story short, I was in the coach's doghouse the whole season, and then it got to a point where he rode me hard because of that mistake, and I didn't know it was, for my own good. So I took it upon myself, and I just quit the basketball team. Fast forward 2 years after I quit, 2 years after I graduated high school, it's the crack era. The crack era comes on the scene. I indulged into the crack era, but I wasn't selling drugs. I wasn't using the drugs. I started selling the drugs, and I got good at it. To where I became one of the biggest drug dealers in Boston. But living that lifestyle and everything doesn't last. And it got to the point where I got caught, and it was time for me to go to prison. But me being a selfish and cocky individual, and I didn't want to go to prison. So I escaped from the courthouse, became a fugitive, went on the run. I was on the run for 8.5 years. They finally caught me, extradited me back. I went to prison for 11 years. So I tell the kids, you add up 8.5 and 11, you get 19.5. I say we rounded off to 20. I tell them I wasted 20 years of my life And I don't want you to waste these same 20 years of your life. And so during the time while I was in prison, I always said I wanted to give back, and I have to give back to my community. And so I thought of ways of how could I give back to my community? How am I going to give back to my community for all that poison that I put out into my community? And then during that time, I got out of prison and I ended up getting a job, and I actually got a job with the city of Boston. And then I made my way up. I was working for the public works department. So I was cleaning these streets and fixing the potholes on these streets and the sidewalks and things of that nature. So I felt as though I was giving back to my community, but it wasn't enough. It was good, but it wasn't enough. And it just so happens in 2019, I had open heart surgery. They discovered that I had a aortic aneurysm and I had no symptoms. So I was a walking time bomb at the time. So I was playing basketball in 2 different basketball leagues. Then at the time, I was perfectly healthy on the outside, not knowing. I went to the doctor because I ate some food and it bothered my stomach. And then upon doing an abdominal X-ray and CAT scan, they seen an image. They caught an image of the artery, but they wasn't sure, and that just opened the floodgates to running all the tests. Fast forward, I had open heart surgery for the aortic aneurysm, and now I'm at home and recovering. I'm sitting on the couch and can't move or do anything. And every day on the news, it's just teen gang violence. Every day, gang violence. 13-year-old kid, 14-year-old kid, 17-year-old kid, shot, stabbed, murdered, or to that nature. And I just said to myself, damn, excuse my French. I said, if they only would pull their pants up, maybe they'd put the guns down. And the light bulb went off in my head. And I said, you know what? I'm sort of popular already in my city. You know, I'm on social media. I got a little bit of a nice following of people who are following me. My friend base is pretty large at the time. It wasn't large as it is now, but it was pretty large because, you know, I was popular between the basketball and my drug, reputation, being a hustler back in the days. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm changing my whole social media page, and I'm just going to put up an image of a man being a man and what I feel as though a man should be and how he should look and how he should dress. And so from then I just started only posting pictures of me dressed in a suit and tie, shirt and tie, whatever, no matter where I was going. I didn't never put down anything of where I was going. I would just post the picture, and then sometime I would put little captions to make you think, you know. And it got to the point where I started building up my following where people thought I was selling suits, you know, but they didn't know that the real reason was trying to put out this image, you know, project this image out there of, no, this is a man. So some of the captions would be like, staying in my lane, going out as a grown man, you know what I mean? Dressing like a grown, doing my part, dressing my part, things of that nature will be my post. And there was a guy I was locked up with. One day he called me on the phone. He had a t-shirt company. He's an artist and he designs t-shirts. And he said to me, T, you know, if I get this company off the ground and I get my money right, he said, I want to get my grown man on. And I was like, you know, meaning a grown man, meaning he wants to dress like how what I'm projecting out there. He's ready to change up and start dressing like a grown man himself. And I don't know what it was. I showed him something. And after we looked at it, I showed him a little video of something. And then when we got done, just before we hung up the phone, he said to me, he said, T, if you ever decide to start your own clothing line or anything, you should call it Follow Suit.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so so I was like, yeah, Follow Suit. So that just stuck in my mind the whole night. Follow suit. I went to bed. Follow suit was in my mind. I woke up the next morning after I made my prayers. It was in my mind, in my heart was that follow suit. And I was like, dang, why am I still thinking about this follow suit? I said, there got to be a reason. I said, I'm going to have to follow this through. This follow suit is telling me to do something with it. And it just so happens I had another friend who was merging in. He's always was in the entertainment business, but he was merging into wanting to start a podcast. And he always kept saying he wanted me to be on his podcast.
Mhm.
He said because he felt as though my message that I have, just my insight about life, is something that the people need to hear. So it just so happens maybe 2-3 days after I started, the wheels were spinning in my head about the follow suit thing. He calls me up and says, Unc, I just opened up a new studio. I'm putting it together. I'm painting the walls. I'm putting up plaster. He said, I'm already visualizing the podcast. Are you ready? And I said, yeah, I'm ready. He said, what you got? And I said, follow suit. I said, we're going to bring mentors and coaches on them and give them their flowers for doing the work in the city, in the community for all these years. We're going to bring them up on the podcast and we're going to interview them. And at the same time, we're going to talk because they all looked the part. Mostly all of the guys that I came up over, they dressed the part from the beginning. So that's what started it. And so we interviewed 2 people, and then we was like, you know what? I started thinking, I got money. I buy myself 2 suits. I can afford to, instead of buying myself two suits, I want to put 2 young men in suits. And so I started reaching out to the Pop Warners, the AAU circuits, the people that I know, and saying, hey, you got 2 kids that you know might be interested in getting into a custom made suit, boom, boom, bang. And this guy, Kevin Ross, that I know, he worked with the band program. And he was like, man, he said, I got 2 scholars who's getting ready to graduate high school and they both going to college. He said, I think they'll be perfect. So we did a introductional email together. I talked to them. I told them about what I'm doing, what I want to do, you know, and how I want to inspire young men to walk this path, you know, because I already made the mistakes and I don't want them making the same mistakes. Fast forward, I tell my partner Albie, who's AKA Cheddar DVD, who runs the podcast. I tells him, yo, we're gonna bring these 2 kids up and we're gonna, you know, put them in suits. We're gonna gift them with custom made suits. These kids are scholars. They just graduated high school. Both of them earned scholarships. They're going off to college. One's going to Babson College and the other one's going to Northeastern. And so he was like, okay. And then he said to me, he said, T, just don't give them the suits, make them earn them. So I was like, okay, how we gonna make them earn the suits? He said, well, when I was in college, I read Poor Dad, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He said, let's bring them on the show, let's interview them, and then we're gonna give them the book and have them do an essay on the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And when about time they read the book and come back with their essay, we'll have the suits ready for them. And so, bam, that's what started the curriculum rolling for the whole follow suit program. So we did the first 2 kids. They came on, they read the book, they did the essays on the book, we gave them the suits. And from there, I just started having ideas and building my curriculum in my mind of what I want to do next. And I was like, I'm small, I ain't got no money. I'm like, I can't become a big, full-blown nonprofit organization. I don't have no property and no site. I said, but I can do workshops. So I said, let's build this curriculum into workshops. And at the same time, my partner Gilbert, who I knew from growing up, he had the custom made clothing line with suits, and he always liked to dress sharp. So I was like, yo, come on, boom, boom, boom. Let's do the suit thing. Not knowing, I only know Gil from growing up, but I'm not knowing at the same time, he has a background in education. He's been in education for the last 25 and a half, 30 years. So that just fit right into the wheelhouse of what I was trying to do. So now me and him combined together and we built out the curriculum together with the build a suit, the how to tie the tie, the financial literacy and everything else, you know. So the kids come in, and I always go back to myself of the age of, I know if you knew me at 13, 14 years old, Tony Thompson, who only knew basketball, NBA, and girls, you would not know that Tony Thompson morphed into AKA Fat Rat, the big drug dealer. But I know, replaying it back in my mind, I know how fast it happened. So I said, let's get these kids at that same age, 11, 12, 13 and sit them down and talk to them. And then I always visualize saying, damn, if that was me in that seat at 11 and 12, I wish there was a man in front of me talking to me, because I know my father was already down on the famous dope block, strung out on drugs back in the day. So I had no male role model in my life. So I know some of these kids are facing the same obstacles. So we bring the kids in, and like I said, the caveat, the carrot and all that is the suit at the end, getting the swag, but we tell them the real reason why you're here is because we're trying to save your life and hopefully make a difference in your life, because you're 11, 12, 13, maybe now. I say, I guarantee I'm going to have you come see me next year when you're 14, and one of your friends is going to be ready to drop out of school. One of your friends is going to be experimenting with drugs. One of your friends is going to be carrying a weapon or joining the gang. And one might just be carrying a weapon for his own protection because he lives in the gang area. One's going to be experimenting with drugs. One might be selling drugs. One's going to want to drop out of school. And I say, hopefully, when that friend of yours comes up to you and says, hey, let's cut class and go do this, you'll think twice about it. Hey, look what I got in my backpack. I got these pills. Let's go over here and try them. So I'm saying, when that day comes, hopefully you'll say, I met Mr. Anthony, and Mr. Anthony told me this was going to happen. And that I know the outcome because I know his story. And that's the whole premises of the Follow Suit program. Now,
talk about again. How do you promote what you do? How do you? I know, for the viewers, how do you promote what you do? How do you advertise and things of that nature?
So I advertise all over social media. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Instagram. And also we have a website. FollowSuitMentoring.com is the website. Follow Suit straight up is the Facebook page. Follow Suit by Ahmed Anthony is the IG page, and Follow Suit on LinkedIn as well. And so then, like I said, I came up in the I have a basketball background, athletic background. So I know all the Pop Warner coaches, and not all of them, but I know a majority of the Pop Warner coaches, the AAU coaches, and other programs like that. So I know a lot of them. So I go to them and say, yo, this is what I'm doing. You're doing that. I'm doing this. You got any kids? Bring them over. Then, like I said, plus just having my following on social media itself. So when I just promote and put the open enrollment up, a lot of mothers, because there's a lot of single mothers, unfortunately, in our community. Mm-hmm. And I sort of direct and promote a lot to the single parents. It's wonderful. I get kids that come in who have both parents still in their life, but I do a lot of soliciting to the single parents to try to get those boys into the program.
You give them a role model, a father figure type thing. I know. But let me tell you this. Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm 11, 12 years old. I got my homeboys. There's about 8 of us. And, they like to go that route. Why should I go do Follow Suit, man? Because I'm not one of then I won't be one of the crew. I won't be one of them. I won't be able to hang out with them. I like wearing my pants below my, what? You know what I mean? What do you say to them, those people that probably really need to be reached out to, but they don't want to for fear of more like being a follower instead of a leader? What would you do in that situation?
I just give them my story and show them that I already did it. I tell them, I said, you're 11 years old. I spent 11 years in a box with someone telling me when to get up, when to go to sleep, what to eat. I said, just think about that. As long as you've been living, I already did that in a box. I actually had to tell that to a young man Wednesday. We did a program out in Leominster Wednesday, and the same thing, 11-year-old boy. And I told him, I said, as long as you've been living, I've been in a box. And when having someone tell me when I could go to bed, when I could wake up, when I could eat, when I could come out and walk around, and then lock me back in. And I told him the same thing. You're going to have a friend who's going to be experimenting with drugs. And he said, I think I have like 2 of them already. I said, okay, well, don't say their names. We don't want to know their names right now.
Right.
I said, but this message is for you, so you know that you can make a better choice. Because I'm showing you right now. I'm standing in front of you, showing you what the outcome of that choice is. And then I give them the other side of it, and I tell them, now you heard my whole story. I said, but now fast forward. I said, I'm standing in front of you with nothing but a high school diploma and a prison record. I said, but have you ever heard the saying of six figures, a person who makes over six figures, And I said, well, I'm one of those persons that makes over six figures. Cause I told him I do this for free. This nonprofit is for free. It doesn't pay none of my bills. It's not a hobby per se, but it's the hobby. I say I make over 100,000 a year. And I tell them the reason why I make over 100,000 a year and only have a prison record and a diploma is because I knew how to walk in there and make that first impression on the lady and convince her to give me the job. I said, because I went in there dressing the part, and I convinced her, and I told him, and I convinced her that I was not going to leave without, her giving me that $100,000 job, which I'm actually sitting here at the job right now. I'm in my, my cozy little sweater. I'm in the job. The place is closed right now, but that's for another day.
I hear you. I hear you. Now, when you first started, you said you're a 501(c)(3), which is a nonprofit, I guess, number that you got to use when you apply for anything, basically. Have you found any difficulty obtaining maybe funding to help your program, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's very difficult because
I know.
the realm, especially the realm when people first hear my program, they just say, "Oh, he's the guy that puts boys in suits." So people are like, "Oh, that's not nothing." Why are we giving this guy money just to put some boys in suits? They don't know. No, we're not putting boys in suits. The boys are being awarded a suit for going through the program, and getting these life lessons. Like I said, we teach teen suicide. I have a partnership with Samaritans organization, which is a suicide prevention big organization, and we have the clinicians come in and we teach teen suicide amongst young brown and black boys in awareness. So they actually get a training where they're not per se the kid who's thinking about suicide, but we give them the tools and the training to witness the mental health that might be going on with their classmate, their cousin, their sibling, the kid they just ride to school with, who might be going through it, because the numbers of young brown and black boys between the ages of 11 to 14 that commit suicide every year, if you heard these numbers, you would be blown away. Because when I met with the organization, I was blown away when they told me the numbers of how many young and brown and black boys commit suicide every year, and the number is on the rise. And it was just so happens when I met the lady at the chief clinician for Samaritans, I met her at a black mental health seminar, and I told her what I did. She told me, she said, "Anthony, your work is suicide prevention." And then that's when another light bulb went off in my head. And those same choices that I talk about, of a kid in my neighborhood, when he decides to drop out of school, that's a suicidal choice. A kid in my neighborhood, when he chooses to join the gang, that's a suicidal choice. A kid who tries experimenting with drugs, these are all suicidal choices in our neighborhood. It might not be in the kid in Wellesley's,
Right.
but in our neighborhood, in our community, these are suicidal choices. And I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. We are doing suicide prevention as well.
It's a great thing that you're doing. Now, if I'm a young boy, and you say your program, what does that involve? If I go and I want to join, what does that involve?
It involves committing to 7 workshops, 2 hours on. Most of the time, we do them on a Saturday. So we tell the parents when they first come in, check your schedule because we won't. He's going to have to come see me and us for the next 7 Saturdays in a row when we start up for 2 hours or 2.5 hours for 7 straight Saturdays. And each Saturday will be one of those workshops. And along with just the regular workshop, I bring in guest speakers and facilitators as well. So they're going to meet somebody who has a career in law enforcement. They're going to meet somebody who once played in the NBA. I have the former running back coach from the New England Patriots who won all 6 Super Bowls with Brady and Belichick. So they're going to meet success. They're going to see greatness. They're going to see a guy who went off to college and then to the NBA, but he only lasted 2 years, but then he played overseas for the next 11 years. So you're not, because every kid that mostly comes in the program, when we say, what is your goal? What's your dream? It's NBA. That's the first. That's what they all say, NBA. So now we have to tell them, well, what's going to happen when you don't make it? What is your backup plan? So when we do the vision board, that's part of the process within the vision board. Let's hear what your plan and your goal is, and what's your backup plan when they cut out and paste pictures of these fancy cars and houses, and we ask them how you're going to get it. In the NBA, I said, well, what happens if you don't make it?
Right.
And then they already got a person in front of them. So I even have people, former prisoners, guys who's incarcerated. My 11 years is nothing. I have a guy that volunteers with me who did 47 years, who stands in front of them and lets them know he went to prison at 17 and did 47 years.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's tough. Whoa. Now, do you, okay, you told me they're going to go through the 7-week mentoring program. And they go through these 7 weeks. What if they miss a week?
If they miss a week, we take attendance and we put them on for the next cohorts. When we start up again, we tell them, you got to make up this class. The one you miss, you coming back to make it up.
Cool.
Yeah. So we also go to the gym. I have a professional trainer that's on my staff and board, and we take him out to his gym and we teach him about eating right, exercising right, not just taking care of your body. Basketball is not the only thing. There's more to it than just basketball. It's what you put into your body as well. It's how you exercise these muscles, how you stretch and prepare and build these muscles, in the food and the things you should be putting in your body as well. And we start now at a young age. You be walking around not like us. hurting at 60, man. These old basketball knees hurt right now.
Oh man, we're gonna talk about that a little bit later on. But do you realize, or did you realize, that when you started doing this, you already named the reasons why you went into this field and wanted to do so much for the youth, to give them the opportunity that you didn't have, or you had, but the problem that you faced. What is it that you thought this would be when you started the way it is now? In other words, what I'm saying, bottom line to you, what you're doing is phenomenal. And the impact that it can make is, we don't know where it can go. It can go to so many new heights. And I think what you're doing, I think other states and other cities can learn and do exactly what you're doing. And I think it's very important what you're doing. And I'm honored to have you on the show because you make an impact on me. I'm 100 damn years old, but you inspire me. You inspire me, and that's why I wanted you on the show. And I want viewers to know how important it is, because a lot of people don't really know. I'm in the hood in New Bedford. It's not like Boston, but I experience or see things you do, but you do it you see it in a larger body of work than I do. But it's in my neighborhood. You
Yes.
are inspiring me to do some of the things you're doing. And I know people who are watching, you got to be inspiring them as well. So I want you to know how much of an impact you are making. I'm letting you know
Thank
that
you.
right now.
Thank you. My goal was, I said, like I said, when I started, I just said I'm giving back. That was just it. I just said I'm giving. I want to give back. I want to give back. So, like I said, I took my own money and put the first two kids in the suit. I didn't even. It wasn't even a nonprofit then at the time. So it was just
Mm-hmm.
me taking the money out and putting the kids in the suit out of my own money. And it was just people along the way as they seen what I was doing. Everybody just kept saying, T, you got to make it a nonprofit. You got to become a nonprofit. You got to become a nonprofit. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, let me turn this into a nonprofit. And half of the reason I became a nonprofit was for the fact that all the support and money that would ever come in, I wanted the people know that it wasn't for me, because I come from a hustler's background. I could have became an LLC and just and hustled my way to the
Right.
top
Mm-hmm.
with it. So I said, no, if I don't want to do it that way, because I don't want the money to be for me. I don't want people to think the money's for me. So it definitely has to be a nonprofit.
And you know what? You epitomize the, being incarcerated for as long as you have been, and to give back the way you're giving back is such an honorable thing to do. And a lot of these people need to realize exactly what an impact you're making on your community. A lot of people who are watching this who are not from the Boston area, Boston is rough. You know what I mean? Like any state is rough, but Boston is really, really going through some changes,
Yes.
and you being a part of it. And a good friend of ours, Danny Santana, who brought you up, he respects you as well. You know what I mean?
Oh
He's
yeah,
trying to
yeah,
do the right
good.
thing as well too.
Yes, he
So
is. He's making a big difference out there. I wish I had his energy.
me too. You know, I can't. He wanted to come on with you, but he's coming on my show next week. I want to give
Oh
you
yeah.
your flowers. He's gonna come on next week because I feel it's such an important thing to have options and things to go through. Because okay, I'm gonna hit you up because me and you. Again, I want to go with you, but it ain't cool. It ain't cool, walking around with a suit and a tie that I don't even know how to tie. It's not gonna be cool to my peers. What do you tell them in those
I tell
events?
them, you can't fall for peer pressure. You gotta be your own. You gotta be yourself. You gotta stand out. From the crowd. You can't be a follower. Do you want to be a leader, or do you want to be a follower? That's what I tell them. I always was a leader. I always thought different. I didn't want to do what the next person was doing. So it's like, and I'm not afraid to stand out and be different. And I tell them, like we said, we have a saying: when you look good, you're gonna feel good, and when you feel good, you're gonna do good. You know, and I tell them, I said, I don't know what it is for me. I don't. For other people, I know for me, when I put on a suit, when I transform, when I morph and put on that suit, I just feel so much different. I feel so much better. My confidence gets
Absolutely.
a double boost. When I walk into a room. So we try to instill all that into them too. And so it's like the kids. They see it, they think about it, but once they see the finished product that's already been in front of them. So when we show them some of the pamphlets, and I have a book with former kids dressed up in the suits, and then they see kids their same age, looking sharp as anything else, and now they're like, oh yeah, yeah. Now they see it. Just about every kid that comes in, he might not be into it in the beginning, but on suit day, when they get that suit, their faces, and then they bond and become friends. So now the same kids that are in the class with them that they don't even know, now those are their friends. And so now they all learned the same thing together. So now I got 6 of them who just graduated, who we gave them their suits back in January. Now tomorrow there's a youth ball tomorrow, Nubian Square. Give it by Meaningful Creations. The lady Ileana she does the youth ball, and she lets me be a part of it, and I'm bringing my boys, and all of them are coming together tomorrow. They hanging out together. They just celebrated. Two of them actually have the same birthday. They just had birthday parties last week, and now they were all coming. So now that sense of being different and around other friends, now they got friends who are thinking the same way that they think, so those other guys that was their friends, who they might have been, they don't want to do that, they don't have to worry about being around them, because now they have friends that do the same thing that they do.
And that makes a big impression, because now they can network together and
Yes.
have, similar goals, not gang banging. When you dress up, the last thing on your mind is gang banging or doing drugs. Well, I hope not. Doing drugs or stabbing somebody. Like you said, when you look good, you feel good, you do good. And that is such a great thing. Now, what do you feel? Okay, now I noticed that you do a lot of events to help out the Follow Suit program. Can you let people know any upcoming events besides the one that you're involved with tomorrow?
So the next big thing we have in line is for the summertime. I do my annual fundraiser event, which will be July 12th in Boston at the Bruce Boland Municipal Building in the heart of Roxbury. So I'm a Roxbury, my community. So I say my program, everything about me is about saving my community, representing my community. So I do my fundraiser in my community. So we're going to be in the Bruce Boland Municipal Building in the heart of Roxbury in Nubian Square. A lot of people don't know, on the 6th floor, they have a beautiful rooftop deck. And so we'll be on the rooftop deck July the 12th. And that morning, I have teamed up with a good friend of mine that I grew up with, who now lives out in California, and he started a walking community where he walks for health. And me and him been friends for a lot of years. We ain't been in contact a lot, but we follow each other on social media and stuff. He was in the entertainment field. He comes up with Brooke Payne in the New Edition in that genre and stuff. And so he's out in California. He started a walk community and got a big following. And he's just so inspired about what I do with this Follow Suit. So he's doing a walkathon fundraiser. So we have that going on, and we're raising money now. And we're actually going to do a walk for health. Health is Wealth walk, sponsored by the walk community in partnership, raising money. All proceeds will go to Follow Suit. And that's going to be the morning of the fundraiser, July 12th as well in Boston. We're going to hopefully be walking around the golf course at Franklin Park.
Fantastic. And folks, I can tell you right now, the events that he does are unbelievable. I mean, it's top notch, first class, music, everything, entertainment, top notch. It's unbelievable. I got to get up and go there. I got to go. I definitely got to go up there and check you out, because
Don't want to miss this year. I got a special guest R&B singer, 2 R&B singers this year. I got a live band that's going to be phenomenal.
I got to go check it out. I got to get my boys. We got to go up there and check it out.
And for those, just to make sure, clarify, this is for the adults. This is my celebration for me and my staff, and for the adults and for the community. This is a 21 and plus event. It's not for the youth. This is our celebration. We do the Friendsgiving for the kids. The youth ball is for the kids. The fundraising in the summer up on the rooftop is for us adults.
Okay, cool. I got you. I definitely got you. It's worth it for what you guys do. It's good to have, you guys, over 21, going out and just enjoying yourselves as well, because it's important to keep that flow going and that intensity going as well. Now would you? I don't know if it's even right to ask this, but you have set the standard. You have kind of set the play-by-play. Would you go into other cities and discuss what you do, or talk about what you do? Or are you just focused on the Boston area?
No, I go wherever they want me. Like I said, we just did a program in Leominster Wednesday. I just was in Wednesday at the Family Health Services Wednesday. with their use. And so we not only just do ourselves, so I do like properties, like different properties who have, the community of the people, the residents of certain properties. They have, resident community engagement people. And so we go and do workshops. So we do singular workshops as well with just the kids of those of those properties, the residents' kids and stuff like that nature. We also do schools, also the MECO program. I have done Reading Middle School through the MECO program. I did MECO kids that from the inner city that go to school out in Reading. Actually I did two. I did a summer one with MECO kids who were doing a summer program who was part of the MECO program, and I also did the MECO Reading Middle School kids as well. I did two properties out in Brockton. So we go wherever they want us to go. We going.
We're going to get you down here in New Bedford. I guarantee we're going to get you down here in New Bedford as well, because what you're doing is phenomenal. And, the youth need guidance. They need hope. And you are definitely giving it to them as well. Now, those 6 people that you have that just recently graduated, will you bring them back? Because word of mouth is so, I guess, important as well.
Yeah, so we're in the process of kicking off our ambassador program too. So we have two of our former cohorts who are ambassadors who go and represent us in their schools, in the programs they go to, and talk about the Follow Suit program, and tell other kids and students that this is a program y'all need to be a part of.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That is a great thing. Now, if someone, because I know, this show is doing pretty good. We're showing all over. If they want to be able to have you come and do a workshop, what is the protocol? What is the procedure for them to get in contact with you? And what would they have to provide? What would they have to go through? Because I guarantee you, after watching this, you're going to be very busy, man.
So they just reach out to us by the website, followsuitmentoring.com. They can email us through there, or they can email us directly at followsuit2000@gmail.com and tell me what they're, give me introduction of who they are, where they are, and what they want. And then I would tell them what we offer. As far as most of the time when we do an individual workshop, the majority of the times I tell them it's best to do the How to Tie a Tie workshop. That's the best one if we're gonna just come in for a one-time single 2-hour workshop. So we give them a presentation of my story, my partner's story, and then we do the demonstration of the how to tie a tie, and teach them the three knots and the bow tie as well. And the same thing, talk to them about the significance of dressing for success.
That's so important. If I'm doing all this, I want to know, what are the pros and the cons of doing what you do?
The pros is just the smile on the face of the young men when I know that I reached at least one of them. That's the pros. The cons is getting us the funding, because it's a cutthroat world with the nonprofit. And like I said, when people hear Follow Suit and they think, oh, they just putting boys in suits, they don't think that it's something that's, if they say, oh, it's a basketball program, give them the money. Oh, it's a football program, it's a baseball program, give them the money. Oh, it's a science program, give them the money. Oh, it's an arts program, give them the money, So that's sort of the con with it, is people. I have to really explain and explain and explain. But once they sit down and they hear what I say, what we're doing and the purpose behind it, then everybody falls in love with it.
I sure haven't. Hopefully, because I'm gonna post this everywhere. I'm sure they'll get a better view as well. Because I'm sure a lot of people, what's up with this? Trying to put a tie on. What's going on? They don't get it. but having you on my show, I think they will get it and
Yeah.
how
So
important it is.
one of our big slogans is trust the process.
Definitely trust the process. And you guys, I have. Do you want to talk about your staff as well? Because we know you couldn't do this all by yourself.
Yes. So my staff is made up of myself, my president, which is Gilbert White, who has the Third's custom clothing line. Who said, and like I said, also he's a licensed educator. Has been in the field of education. He's a graduate from a historical black college as well. He went to Hampton University.
Okay.
Like I said, he's got over going on 30 years in education, in the education field, and he's the president of the program. Then my vice president, her name is Shakira Robinson, aka Shakira Story, who is a domestic violence survivor who has her own organization. She's a domestic violence counseling and coaching and consultant, and it's called Shakira Story. Then I have Lisa Holmes, who's a retired superintendent of the Boston Police Department, and she taught sexual assault in her days as a police detective before she moved up to the academy, graduating the cadets through the academy as the superintendent before she retired. So actually, them two ladies together formed together, and we call that workshop Healthy Relationships. And so we bring the kids in and teach them that workshop as well. In that workshop, we have the parents come in and sit with the kids too, because when we talk in that language of sex, rape, sharing photos, domestic violence, we don't want it to be something that they go home saying, and the parents are like, "What?" Because they
Right.
might not be ready to have that conversation.
Right.
So we let them know we're going to have that conversation all together in the room at the same time. And so those are two other on my staff. My partner, Larry Young, who has Forever Young Wellness, who's a professional trainer, who also was in the financial field for some years. So he has his own gym and he's a trainer. And he's also, he's on my staff. Then I have Randall Jackson, who's a former NBA player out of Mission Hill, went to Florida State, played 2 years with the Washington Wizards, then played 11 more years overseas. He's on the staff as well. And my videographer, Diego, aka ASAP Media, he's on the staff as well. And he also teaches kids if they want to do an internship and learn about the audio video field as well. He volunteers time out to teach kids that if they want to choose to do that.
I mean, how can anyone not want to be part of your program? How can anyone not want to be part of it? I wish they had that when I was growing up. You know what I mean?
Right. Me too.
Wow. T, is there anything that you want to bring up or anything you want to talk about that maybe I didn't bring up or maybe I didn't discuss? Anything you want to let the viewers know? Anything that, we can do to help you out as far as getting some finances or anything? I'm here to give you your flowers and I want you to let people know, anything that you want to let the people know.
Well, I can say if you want to make a donation, you can Zelle us at followsuit2000@gmail.com on Zelle, and that goes directly to the account of Follow Suit, or you can Cash App as well. It's Follow Suit, the $ capital F and then a capital S in Suits with a Z. So it's Follow Suits with a Z. Capitalize the S, capitalize the F. And that goes also directly to the account as well if you want to make a donation. Or you can write a check. And you can go on the website and get the whole address. And we do open enrollment. We do a cohort for the fall. Usually we try to start late September, October. And then we do a cohort once the winter is over in the spring, which we're about to start up now. Actually, we have open enrollment tomorrow. If anybody's in the Boston area, we'll be at the Roxbury Library tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. You got to just come in person and fill out the paperwork because the spots are based on funding, and we don't want to tell a kid no, because another parent signed up and then the kid doesn't show because we have to budget how many kids we can actually put into a suit per cohort.
Right.
So that's how we do the slot. So if the parent can take time out of her day to actually come in person and meet me and fill out the paperwork, I know she's gonna have her kid come to the program. Because if all she has to do is go on the computer and say, "Oh, he's coming," and send me an email, and then next thing you know, they don't never show up, and then I have 3 kids over here whose parents wanted their kid to come, and I got to tell them no because I think the slots is already filled. So we do all our registrations in person registration. So we'll be at the Roxbury Library, Nubian Square tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Well, T, not only are we live, as soon as we're done, I'm gonna post this all over. So hopefully there's a lot of people watching who will hopefully attend your event and do whatever they can to support you as well, because what you do is not easy. I can't thank you enough for what you do. There's not too many things that really touch me, but what you do and what Danny Santana does, I mean, it really hits home with me. And that's why I've asked you guys to come on. You have an open platform. Anytime you want to come on, anytime, anything you're doing, just let me know. You got priority because what you're doing is so special because, I grew up without a parent. So I kind of, without a dad, I mean, anyway, he passed when I was like 16. And I wish I had people like you in my life. Although I turned out okay, but it's just the point of, having someone there. And with the bullying stuff that's going on right now in the youth and all the drugs and the social media, and it's a tough time being the youth. And you mentioned about the suicide. There's been suicides around here. You know what I mean? And in any way, a small part that I can help you or help my own city, I'm down to do it because there needs to be mentors like you, and what you do is so damn special. And I got to give you your flowers for that. We only have a few minutes left. This went by quick. Is there anything else you want to get? Anything you want to relay? Because I'm giving you your flowers. I don't want to.
No, I appreciate you. I thank you. And I appreciate the work that you do as well. I know you put a lot of work in supporting your community in your city.
Well, thank you, Keith. All right, now, we talked about what you do in Boston. I gotta end it with some basketball. We gotta talk some basketball.
Okay, let's go into some quick basketball.
All right, I'm gonna hit you real quick because we only got a few minutes. I'm gonna hit you real quick. I'm gonna get you in trouble right now. When you were growing up, the whole 9, give me your top 5 Boston players by position.
Top 5 Boston players by position that I watched. Why I watched point guard, of course, it has to be my idol and role model who I played in high school. I didn't get to play with him, but I played intramurals and stuff. Greg Smooth Simpson, of course, one of the baddest boys with that basketball. He's the point guard. Al, a.k.a. Al McLean.
Man, your name is my team, man. Go ahead.
He has to be the shooting guard. I actually me and Al actually worked for Hall of Fame coach Jim Calhoun. He was at Northeastern. I was a coach and instructor at his basketball camps at Northeastern in the summer. Me and Al McLean. So he would be the shooting guard. Forward, I would have to go with John Saley.
Ooh, people don't know about John Saley.
John Saley. Yeah, John Saley. So I'm naming not people that I did actually watch, but some of the people I watched them, but I also got to play a little bit with them at times.
Now, John Saley played at Seton Hall. He had
he went to see. Yeah, he had Felton and also his younger brother Dave. Dave played, I think. So John played at Don Bosco. He went from Don Bosco to Seton Hall.
That's correct. Yep.
So one forward would have to be him. Let me think who would be the other forward. Good.
Tough. You got it tough there.
Tough. I'm trying to think who's a nasty forward. One of the nasty forwards. That one's tough. I'm trying to think. There's a lot of them out there, but I'm trying to think of one like that. Actually, I played a little bit with,
Okay.
because I admired a lot of the older
Right.
guys. I played a little bit with them, but I'm like, I actually played some with. It might take me longer. Might take me a little bit. I say one of the guys I loved his game was a left-handed guy, Darryl Walker, played at Charlestown. D Walker, as they call him.
Right.
I put him on there, and of course, Ewan is going to be the center.
Quiet as kept, of course. We all know that. But we're about time to go.
Special shout out to my man. He's not on the list, but I love him to death, and he's the legend, Boo Rice.
Oh Lord, that's my dog right there, Boo. Folks, you even know about Boo Rice. How tall is he? About 5'7", maybe? 5'6"?
Not even 5'7", 5'5", probably.
Now we were in the same.
Might be 5'6". I say 5'5", 5'6" at the most. Boo Rice is the man.
He is the man, and
He's a little bit old. So I only got the glimpses of him. I know him growing up. We're real good friends now, but I never got to actually play on him when he was Boo Rice, the man. I never played with him. I played with him years later in old timers leagues and stuff like that.
He was no joke. Let me tell you something. I was going to say I had the pleasure. It wasn't a pleasure, but believe me, and we had to go against each other in college. Boo, we go back 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
Gary Burke, I don't know if you know about him. Gary Burke, Gizmo.
Of course, yeah.
The Giz. Yeah, I know about. But anyway, man. So I didn't want to put you in the spot like that, but I wanted to hear what you had to say. But is there anything you want to say about the NBA or anything before we go?
No, they got to do better with the All-Star weekend.
Oh yeah. Well, T, one more time, can you let the viewers know how to get in touch with you, and if they want to send money or checks or whatever?
Yep.
Can you give me that one last chance?
Followsuitmentoring.com is the website. Followsuit2000@gmail.com is the email address, and Follow Suit on Facebook. Follow Suit by Ahmed Anthony on Instagram. Follow Suit by Ahmed on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. The podcast is called Follow Suit Fashion Unfiltered, and there's about 30 episodes up there between the kids graduating and me interviewing coaches and mentors and father figures that have been doing the work in the community.
Well, T, again, I want to thank you for coming on my show. I'm blessed to have you as a friend. And again, anytime you want to come on, anything you want to bring up, you are welcome. Just give me a holler. I got you.
All right.
Thank you so much for coming on my show and taking the time, my brother. Peace.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Love you.
I love you more. Thank you.
All right. Brother. God bless.
God bless you as well. Folks, I just had my man, Anthony Thompson of Follow Suit on my show, and it's been an honor and a pleasure having him on. Folks, I've been doing the show for 3-4 years, and there's very few shows that really make an impact on me, and he definitely has made an impact on me, and inspires me, because sometimes what we do is difficult and it's stressful sometimes, and sometimes you need a little pat on the back, little jump start, and he has definitely jump started me as well. So folks, I want to thank you for tuning into my show, Sports Corner with the Conn Man, on the Sports Wave Network. I want to thank you guys, and we're also on Roku TV on Saturdays at 5:00 as well. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Take care. God bless. Thank you, T.
Peace. God bless.